Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we have to talk about Gwyneth because she is, surprising to some people, she is still dominating even in Endless Dream Realm and Endless boss content in general like the upcoming Titan Reaver, and she's creating a big score gap compared to no Gwyneth options. This can be a little bit surprising because when we first had the release of Gwyneth, we expected her to be mainly a pre-Endless Dream Realm damage dealer. However, actually, she turns out to be good in Endless, at least in Phase 2. Partially, the reason for that is her exclusive skill, which actually converts a small portion of her damage into effectively pseudo HP loss damage. Because if you take a look at her exclusive skill over here, she ignores physical defense damage reduction, basically ignoring defenses of enemies, but then more importantly, she's the only hero in the game that has an effect that will have 4% of all other damage taken reduction effects. This line right here basically is meaning that a portion of her damage is ignoring all damage reduction effects, and that will then mean this damage is basically cutting through all forms of damage reduction, equivalent to the form of an HP loss damage type effect. Because why is HP loss damage so effective? It bypasses damage reduction. And now in Endless Dream Realm, what happens is the bosses massively and rapidly scale up their damage reduction stat. And that is going to apply and reduce true damage, physical damage, magical damage, all forms of damage except for HP loss. However, Gwyneth, a small portion of her damage is going to ignore all forms of boss damage reduction effects, including, and that is going to include that damage reduction stat. And so that is why she's actually going to be hitting with pseudo HP loss damage, and why she is still working even in Endless Dream Realm. But now, okay, there's the explanation. Now the thing is, what can you do about this if, for example, you missed out on Gwyneth, right? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. Well, we will have a swap ticket coming up. The S-level swap ticket is going to be coming up in the milestone rewards. For the people who purchase an Xperia monthly, is coming up just on Monday. Is going to be as soon as that. However, for the people who did not buy Xperia monthly, is going to be coming up a week from Monday. So like basically either you'll have to wait 4 days or you'll have to wait 11 days, but then it is going to be coming. And then what you can do is you can preemptively, or at that time, you recruit up either Orion. Peggy's already done. The banner's gone for Peggy, so that will not be an opportunity anymore. But you can recruit up Orion, and then you can actually swap him into Gwyneth, because out of the two, of course, Gwyneth is way more important because Gwyneth is doing really well in boss content, and in fact, Gwyneth is still the higher priority carry, hyper carry for even PvP content. Gwyneth is a tier 1, basically top tier carry. Orion is a tier 2 carry in my opinion, not at the same level of Gwyneth, and so even for PvP, if you had to make an investment, it's definitely Gwyneth over Orion if you have to choose between the two. If you can get both, then by all means get both, but like if you had to choose, Gwyneth is a major priority. Now, so that's what I'm saying, is that because of this now newfound basically fact that she's dominating even in Endless Dream Realm, it makes it even more of a priority for you to be building up Gwyneth, because at this point you cannot skip Gwyneth. In fact, she's even more meta than heroes like Alicent, who for a long time were very meta even for Endless Dream Realm. If you take a look here, Snore Stomper, huge score gap between Gwyneth and no Gwyneth teams. There's just not many Gwyneth, no Gwyneth teams to go around that are coming anywhere close. Gluma also going to be using Gwyneth. Like, I mean, they're going to be free run teams as well, and some free run teams do decently well, or even this Pandora team coming close, but Gwyneth is still the top option if you really want to cap out your score. Now, for some bosses, you're never going to see her. Doomscourge, obviously, no, Gwyneth is a summoner boss. Lady Starfallen, you will not see her because it's just about buffing your star core through healing a Vanguard spell with magical damage, so you're not going to be using Gwyneth there. Sarathiel, she is being used, and she probably likely will remain in Sarathiel even right up until end of the season, like even in Phase 3, because Sarathiel is kind of like the hybrid between pre-Endless and early Endless, and that's actually the point where Gwyneth is definitely shining. We've already seen that. So Sarathiel is likely that Gwyneth is going to remain on top. Although there are some free run teams coming close. If you actually look at the Serathil, like free run teams are coming close, just the free run Himmel teams compared to Gwyneth, but Gwyneth still is technically best. Elucia, there's no question. Gwyneth is going to be the best damage dealer of the whole of this season because only physical damage actually is effective onto Elucia. And so you need to run the best physical damage dealer, which is Elucia for boss content. Which is Gwyneth for boss content. Midnight Harvester, you're not going to see Gwyneth because she doesn't work here. She ultimates too slowly. King Croaker, I have no idea. I don't know what to expect with King Croaker. It's probably going to change from the summoning meta. It could change into Gwyneth, quite likely. Snow Stomper, it is Gwyneth. So really, when we recap it, it's Snow Stomper, it is Elucia, definitely. These are the two best bosses for Gwyneth. She's probably going to remain even for the whole season, potentially. Apart from that, there's going to be some usage in Serathil or Gloomall, potentially. King Croaker, we don't know. And the other bosses, probably not. But yeah, that's overall high usage of Gwyneth. Titan Reaver as well, she's going to be used as well. And that's also really important. So, and then in PvP, she's a top tier hyper carry, one of the best PvP heroes in the game right now. And so in every way, Gwyneth is one of the most important heroes to build on your account. Now the question is, do you want to Paragon upgrade her? Like for example, even if you're going to swap Orion into her, you could think about, okay, Paragon, Orion, then swap into Gwyneth. She doesn't need Paragon for boss content, for PvE content. And you can also gradually get her Paragon upgrade through your wishlist, which is the more efficient and effective way anyway. And so you don't have to rush to Paragon unless you are a high spender or a really PvP focused player. But if you are a PvP focused player, then yeah, minimum like Paragon 2 and ideally even Paragon 4. But like Paragon 2 to begin with and then gradually build her up higher than that on your wish list. That is fine. But basically, Gwyneth is one of the most must-have heroes we've had since basically Freerin. Freerin has been a must-have along with Himmel. Gwyneth is a must-have. Celeste was a must-have. Those are in recent history, those are going to be the big four heroes that you definitely need to build out of the regular factions, right? Of course, Contest is a must-have, Gunner to an extent, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about the main faction heroes or even Dimensionals, and those are the big four in the recent times, which have been major priority to pick up. And really, you're not going to be able to be the most optimal in your either PvE or PvP if you don't have Gwyneth built. So basically, yeah, she is, you know, the thing was honestly why we kind of all a bit also undervalued or underestimated Gwyneth to begin with is because we had just had Sylvan. And Sylvan was like, you know, doing really well in Dream Realm content. And then he basically got power crept by Gwyneth. And so it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths who invested highly into Sylvan. Because you're like, okay, well, Gwyneth is probably just going to last for one more season. And then there'll be a new flavor of the month coming next season. But no, in fact, Gwyneth is she's completely busted, right? You can't even really compare her to Sylvan. And interestingly enough, Sylvan's still having use in the latest Starfallen boss, but that's only because of the artifact of this season. Even if this boss comes back in the next season, if we don't have this artifact Vanguard spell for that healing based on magic damage at all, Sylvan is not going to be used. Almost definitely not. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video talking about Gwyneth. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Just to summarize my point again is that if you do not have Gwyneth all the way at Supreme Plus yet, then I would recommend try to recruit Orion and use the swap ticket, which is coming up either on Monday or a week from Monday if you didn't buy the Spirit Monthly, because Gwyneth is a must-have hero. She's still being very effective in Endless Dream Realm as well, and also in the Titan Reaver, which is also an endless level of Titan Reaver coming up. And so you need to get Gwyneth. At this point, it's just completely a must-have hero. And if you are a PvP focused player, you can go even for the Paragon upgrades by, you know, Paragoning Orion right now and swapping into the Gwyneth. And don't worry about Orion. You might be thinking, well, what if I want to get Orion as well? Well, Orion is not on the same level as Gwyneth. This is what we talked about in PvP, and Orion is a purely PvP hero. Gwyneth is better in PvP, quite substantially better in my opinion, and also she is just must have for PvE content as well. So anyway guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video in a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then everyone, peace out for now.